This is episode 1 of Kicker and the Waterboy, and we have one question. What would an NFL broadcast on Nickelodeon look like? All I'm saying, it might be the perfect demographic for Booger McFarland. Here we go.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to episode 1 of Kicker and the Waterboy. I'm Evan, also known as the Kicker, and
I'm Ryan, otherwise known as Waterboy. We are both college friends from the University of South Carolina, and both of us are huge sports fans.
we decided that we want to make a podcast because, quite frankly, we're both pretty bored and want to give some people some good comedic sports stories.
That is the goal. So, just a little bit of background on us. Here are my top 5 favorite sports teams in this order. They are the Carolina Hurricanes of the NHL, the Carolina Panthers of the NFL, the Golden State Warriors of the NBA, Atlanta United of MLS, and the Baltimore Orioles of the MLB. Evan, how about you?
Well, these are in no particular order, but I like the Capitals of the NHL, Packers of the NFL, the Washington Wizards of the NBA, DC United of the MLS, and the Baltimore Orioles of MLB. Overall, I'd say I'm more of a college sports fan, though.
Yeah, I respect that. And since we both go to the University of South Carolina, we are huge supporters of Gamecock athletics.
Spurs up.
Absolutely. What we plan to cover during this podcast is kind of to hit the big sports stories of the week. And then, during the week, we go searching for obscure stories to find and talk about. And then lastly, just find something in the sports world that we can all laugh about. And let's jump right into the first of those big stories. This week, the NFL announced that they are going to move to a 14-team playoff, 7 teams in each division. I thought that this could possibly put a lot more importance on the 1, as they would be the only team that gets a bye, but a lot less on the battle between the 2 and the 3. Do you see teams easing up or battling less down the stretch when it comes to playoff positioning?
That's a good question, Ryan, and my answer would have to be no. I think they're going to end up battling even more for that extra spot because, in my opinion, the playoffs are a whole other season, and the 1 extra spot, 2 extra spots, really. That's more teams that have a chance and make for more exciting last weekend games. What are your thoughts?
I think that's a good point because all you have to do is get into the playoffs, and then when you get in, everyone's record is 0-0, and you just have a bunch of 1 week where you have to win. That's the attitude for the remainder of the season. So I think that teams are going to carry that starting in the month of December and pushing that all the way into the playoffs should they make it that far. So last year,
last year those teams would have been the quarterbackless Steelers and the recently imploded Rams. Do you think either team deserved a chance, or could any of them have beaten the Chiefs or Packers?
I mean, with those teams in particular, I don't think that either of them would have made it past the first round. If I had to pick one, it would be the Rams, just because the Packers had more or less of a down year. But I just really don't see the Steelers with their quarterback named Duck and Rudolph. I just really don't see them winning a playoff game with quarterbacks of that caliber. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. If I had to choose one, it would have definitely been the Rams. And the year before, they had made the Super Bowl.
Mm.
They had that playoff experience.
That's true.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. So how many years do you think it's going to be before one of those 7 seeds are going to ultimately make the Super Bowl?
Man, I'm going to have to say probably, I'm going to go 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. That's my magic number, I guess. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't see it happening for a while. Since the NFL expanded, there have only been 2 6 seeds who have made it all the way to the Super Bowl. Coincidentally, both of them won. But in any case, it hasn't happened in the past past decade. The last team to do it was the 2010 Packers. So I think it will be a while, maybe not within this decade, just because the league is so top heavy at the moment. But yeah, so just curious, since the NFL did make their amendments to the playoffs, if that was up to you and you could change the playoffs somehow, how would you do that?
I make it like the NBA, and that the teams with the best record would make the playoffs regardless of their division. I just think that best team should make it, and if you're in a tough division but you're still a good team, I feel like they don't get their playoff shot like they should. But those are just my thoughts. How would you make the NFL playoffs better per se?
Yeah, I'm thinking something along those lines, but what I would do is have the top teams by record host the games as opposed to division winners. Last year, the Eagles, the 9-7 dismal Boston Scott, as a starting running back, Eagles got to host a playoff game to the powerhouse that was the Seahawks. So if it were up to me, I would have the higher seed, or sorry, not the higher seed. I would have the higher record team host a game as opposed to a division winner.
Good thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. As mentioned earlier, one wild card game will be simulcasted on Nickelodeon in a broadcast geared towards kids. Ryan, what do you think that would include?
Oh dear gosh, this is going to be awful. Like, I really don't know what the problem is with like the current broadcast. Is that not geared enough toward kids? And also, where are kids going to watch that their parents aren't watching? Like, I don't really understand that. I don't know what that's going to include other than like less vocabulary, I guess. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, to begin with, I think our rules expert would be Jimmy Neutron. Man, this seems like a smart dude. And then the commentators, just make him the cast of iCarly.
Go for it.
I mean, they're a solid crew. They work well together. Regarding their football IQ, not really sure, but it'd be geared towards kids, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
And lastly,
yeah.
Instant replay. None other than Dora the Explorer. Come up. What does Dora have in her backpack? Instant replay.
Oh yes.
So, I think honestly, I would watch that simulcast.
Yeah.
If Tony Romo's great.
Yes.
I would have him be my commentator. But if I was watching a Fox game or a Nickelodeon game, Nickelodeon all the way.
I hear that.
So, just my thoughts.